It was a chilly autumn evening in a small town in the Midwest. The kind of evening where the wind nips at your face and the streetlights cast a soft, golden glow across empty sidewalks. Jason, a young man in his late 20s, was driving home from work, feeling exhausted from a long day. His mind was tangled with deadlines, bills, and all the little worries that weigh us down. But then, something unexpected made him slam on the brakes. There, on the side of the road, shivering in the cold, was a man who looked completely lost. His clothes were worn, and his eyes carried a deep sadness, a kind of exhaustion that comes not just from life's struggles but from carrying the world alone. Jason didn't know his name, didn't know his story, but something inside him whispered, "You have to help him." Before we dive in, if you love stories that warm the heart and show the incredible power of kindness, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and leave a comment sharing your own experiences. You're part of the Kindness Story Hub family now, and we'd love to hear from you. Jason pulled over and stepped out into the crisp evening air. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked gently. The man looked up, startled, as if he wasn't used to anyone asking him that question, let alone caring about the answer. After a moment, he nodded slowly but didn't speak. Jason could see the tremble in his hands and the hesitation in his eyes. Something told him this wasn't just a man caught in the cold, it was a man caught in life's storms. Jason didn't overthink. He walked over and offered the stranger a warm coffee he had grabbed earlier from a cafe near work. "Here," he said, "maybe this will help a little." The man's hands shook as he took it. For a moment, they both stood silently, sipping the coffee. It was a simple act, a small gesture, but it was enough to break through the invisible wall of isolation the man had built around himself. Finally, the stranger spoke, his voice low and rough. "Thank you. I don't usually get help like this." Jason nodded, smiling gently. Sometimes, the world can feel heavy. But no one should have to face it alone. There was something in the man's eyes now, a glimmer of hope, a sense that maybe, just maybe, someone cared. Jason didn't know it yet, but this small moment of kindness was about to set off a chain of events that would change both their lives. He offered the man a ride to a nearby shelter, and along the way, he learned that his name was Robert. Robert had recently lost his job and his apartment. Life had thrown him into a spiral of bad luck and misfortune, leaving him struggling just to get by. As they drove, Jason listened. He didn't judge. He didn't offer unsolicited advice. He just listened, and sometimes, that's the greatest kindness you can show. Robert shared stories of his life, of dreams that once seemed possible, and of the heartbreaks that had brought him to this cold roadside that evening. And through it all, Jason's heart grew heavier, but in a different way. He realized that being kind wasn't just about helping strangers, it was about seeing their humanity and giving them a moment of relief, a moment of dignity. When they arrived at the shelter, Jason helped Robert get settled. He even managed to secure a small meal for him from the volunteers. Robert kept glancing at Jason with disbelief, as if he couldn't quite comprehend that someone he didn't know would go out of their way to help him. "Why are you doing this?" he asked softly. "You didn't have to." Jason smiled. "Because someone once helped me when I was in a tough spot. And I know how much it matters." He patted Robert on the shoulder and left, feeling a strange mix of warmth and exhaustion. It was a simple act, he thought. But for Robert, it was monumental. Days passed, and Jason thought about that night often. Little did he know, the ripple effect of his kindness was just beginning. One morning, as he was walking into his favorite coffee shop, he noticed Robert sitting at a corner table, a small notebook open in front of him. Robert looked up, smiled warmly, and waved him over. "I've been thinking," Robert said, "about how much your kindness meant to me that night. It inspired me to start making some changes, little by little." He showed Jason the notebook filled with job applications, sketches, and plans for a better future. "I even found a new job last week," he said proudly. "And I'm saving to get my own apartment again." Jason felt a lump in his throat. He realized that what he had thought was a simple, passing gesture had actually given someone a lifeline, a spark of hope when things seemed completely dark. The truth hit him hard. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness can make the biggest difference. Over the next few months, Jason and Robert kept in touch. Jason continued to check in, offer encouragement, and celebrate Robert's milestones. And as Robert's life began to stabilize, he never forgot the man who had stopped for him on that chilly autumn evening. One day, Robert showed up at Jason's door, holding a small box with a note attached. "Open it," he said with a grin. Inside was a handcrafted photo frame with a simple message: kindness changes lives. On one side was a picture of the two of them that evening, taken by a volunteer at the shelter, capturing the exact moment Jason offered the coffee. On the other side, there was a note in Robert's handwriting: "Because of your kindness, I didn't give up. I want to help others too." Jason was speechless. He realized that this wasn't just about him helping Robert. It was about the chain reaction that kindness creates. By showing compassion to one person, you can inspire them to do the same, and the impact can ripple out far beyond what you can imagine. Robert didn't stop there. Inspired by that night, he began volunteering at the same shelter, helping others who were struggling, offering warm meals, coffee, and even just a listening ear, exactly what Jason had given him. The shelter's volunteers started noticing a change. People who were once hopeless and withdrawn began to open up, comforted by Robert's empathy and understanding. Months later, Jason attended a small gathering at the shelter. Robert had invited him to see the progress being made and to meet some of the people he had helped. As Jason walked in, he saw smiles, laughter, and a sense of community that had once seemed impossible. He realized that his one simple act had not only saved a man from despair, it had sparked a movement of kindness in a place that desperately needed it. That evening, Jason and Robert stood outside under the glow of the streetlights, much like the night they had first met. Robert turned to him and said, "I can't thank you enough. You didn't just help me, you taught me what it means to care. And now, I get to pass that on." Jason smiled, feeling a warmth that went beyond the chill of the autumn air. He finally understood that kindness isn't just about grand gestures or heroics. It's about noticing someone in need, taking a small step, and showing them that they matter. That one small moment can change the trajectory of a life and sometimes, even the lives of countless others. As Jason drove home that night, he reflected on the journey. He realized that life's challenges often feel overwhelming, but acts of kindness can be the most powerful antidote. They remind us that, no matter how hard things get, we are never truly alone. A simple gesture, a cup of coffee, a kind word, a helping hand can spark hope, create connections, and inspire others in ways we might never fully see. And maybe that's the most incredible part of kindness: it costs so little, yet it has the power to change everything. Robert's life was transformed by one evening, and now he was helping others do the same. And all it took was a man who decided to stop, notice, and care. So, the next time you see someone struggling, whether it's a stranger on the street, a neighbor, or a friend, remember Jason and Robert. Remember that kindness is contagious, and it can start with the smallest, simplest act. Because when we choose compassion over indifference, we create ripples that can reach farther than we ever imagined. Let this story be a reminder that every moment is an opportunity to make the world a little brighter. One act of kindness, no matter how small, can turn despair into hope, loneliness into connection, and darkness into light. So go out there, be kind, and watch how the world responds. It might just surprise you in the most beautiful way.